Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Monday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Hope you all had a nice week. And welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite here on the 2nd of February 2026. It is a new month, guys. It is January over. No more saying Happy New Year. It's time to literally get on with the year, guys. And we've got plenty to look at, plenty to cover, of course, as well over the next couple of weeks as well. Hope you guys are all doing well. Just for reference, for those who are new to this live stream, my name is Reganelite. This is the Good Morning Show that I do every Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. for roughly about an hour long. What we do is we look at the daily quote, we have a look at what's happening with the weather, and then we have a look at see what the headlines are in UK papers, world papers, and just kind of not papers, sorry, the websites themselves. And we have a look and share our thoughts on that. So we do that for about an hour. So if you want to hang out in the chats, you're more than welcome to do so. I should point out as well, we're not just on YouTube, we're also on twitch.tv/Reganelite1 as well. So if you're on either one of those platforms, feel free to say hello in the chat. Let's see who we've got here on this morning here. George, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Scott Hayes, good morning to you. Mel, good morning to you. Person impersonator there. Ellie, good morning to you, and anybody else who may be lurking in the chats there. Right, let's get started with. Oh my god, I got things falling over here. Why is things falling over here? I just want. Oh, I should actually point out some other things as well. My voice is a bit banged up from yesterday's wrestling show, so I have not recorded any Patreon or Rumble videos. I'm going to try and record at least 2 Rumble and 2 Patreons to cover today and tomorrow. So the videos that normally drop at 12 o'clock, obviously, I'm not going to be able to do them because I haven't recorded them yet. So I'm going to try and record them and drop them as soon as possible later on those platforms. And I'm going to try and record tomorrow's ones today as well, so that I can rest my voice for the rest of the day. So I can do some other stuff that doesn't require the use of my voice. So just wanted to reference that. Also, I've recorded short videos for the next 2 days. So if you are a YouTube member, you can see those shorts already available to you as well. Here is today's daily quota 1. A warm smile is the universal language of kindness, according to William Arthur Ward there. Let me read it one more time for people. A warm smile is the universal language of kindness. A warm smile is the universal language of kindness, from William Arthur Ward. It's a nice one, isn't it? Warm smile. Yeah, actually, I don't know if you can see in the picture. There's a little girl on a swing set there as well on that one. And by the way, if you're interested in having one of your own, if you want to know where you can get one of these from, in the description, guys, there's a website called littlepennythoughts.com. That's why I got this one. I imagine that they're probably a bit more updated now, but they don't just do quote ones. There's like funny ones. There's like all sorts of different ones. So you could have a funny joke every single day that you can open up and read to as an alternative as well. So yeah, have a look if you're interested there as well. I see some new people in the chat. Benjamin, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. David, good morning to you. Vibe Scott, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. One of our moderators there. Rosemary, good to see you there as well. Hope you are doing well. I think that's all the new people there. And by the way, I'll be keeping it here for the time being, but if anybody wants to join the Patreon or buy me a coffee, your name gets added to this list here. So you get to join this list here. So we acknowledge those who have supported me when I was demonetized for a little bit there, just for reference. Won't be any screaming and shouting from me today. As I've said, my voice took a little bit more of a battering than I normally do at wrestling shows last night. Thank you, Viper Scott, for £2 super chat. Oh, how DPR and Ollie too, and Ducks. I think you were meant to say Ducks there. You typed it too fast, but yes, to the Ducks as well. Yeah, I think you were meant to say to the Ducks. Yeah, thank you for that super chat. Greatly appreciated. Yes. Four more super chats to go to get today's goal, guys. But as we get to that goal, let's also have a look at the weather here, guys. Here is today's weather. This is set for reference. I'm using the bbc.co.uk/weather map. So if anyone's interested in using it themselves, the link for it is in the description as well. I've set it right now to today at 6 o'clock, just for reference here. So this is our big, beautiful planet here. We've got here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And this is what some of the temperatures that they are saying is out there, guys. Look, guys, you could actually step outside. Yellowknife, perhaps. I wouldn't recommend it. Minus 15 there. Anchorage in Alaska, minus 4. Vancouver, 9 degrees. San Francisco, 13. Ottawa, minus 7. New York, 0. Very cold, of course, in that part of America. Miami, 12. Mexico City, 15. Yeah, it's not all sunshines and roses in Miami, guys. Sometimes they do actually get a drop in temperatures from the looks of it there. Not too much change in temperatures in South America there. We can see temperatures staying very, very warm, as always, around about the 30s to 25 degrees in most parts. But they're getting their fair share of tropical rainstorms, as they normally do on the continent there. In terms of the middle and southern Africa there, temperatures around 29 to 24, some as low as 19 there, with very little shades of rain on the continent there. They don't get a lot of rain. They don't get a lot of rain, do they? There, which is not good for them. Move a bit further over here on the other side of the world here. Darwin at 27 degrees, very warm for them, with plenty of rainstorms there. Perth at 22, Sydney at 20 there, Auckland at 21 degrees there. And so they got their fair share of rainstorms around in that part of the world. Philippines there, a very warm 24 degrees there. Tokyo at 3, Beijing at minus 3 there for reference. New Delhi at 12 degrees, Tehran is at 11, Riyadh 22 there. You can see Iceland there, a very 5 degrees there, very cold for them. Murmansk at minus 14. Let's zoom in here to the rest of, have a look at Europe here before we get to the UK here. Got some fair share of these rainstorms coming into the coastal lines of France there and parts of Europe there, as well as on Portugal's shorelines there. We can see Lisbon 12, Madrid at 6. Nice there covering in snow at 10 degrees there, of their fair share of rain on the south of France there. Rome at 10, Parmelo 11, Algiers 15, Tunis 15, Tripoli at 16. Excuse me, respectfully there. Moving a bit further over here, we can see Athens at 13 degrees, Istanbul at 4 here. Turkey with a fair share of snow on the east of the country, as well as some rain on the north and centre of the country there. Bucharest 6, Chistu minus 11, Zagreb 3, Vienna 2, Prague 0, Berlin minus 8. Mainly temperatures are very, very cold. We'll go further over it a bit, but you can see there most of it is kind of dry, but it's just very, very cold there, we can see. And of course, Kiev is in the worst of it all, guys. Minus 20 degrees. That is brutal for the people of Ukraine. Already struggling, of course, as we know from the horrific war. That this month will be going into their 4th year. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I believe it's the fourth year the war has been going on now. Which it will be 4 years within a couple of weeks' time. It'll be 4-year anniversary, unless before then there is a ceasefire, which I'm very doubtful of, if I'm honest there. But minus 20 degrees in the Ukraine capital. Warsaw very cold as well, minus 17. Volgograd minus 12, Moscow minus 16, St. Petersburg minus 9 there. Vinnytsk and Minsk minus 19 and 18 respectively. Riyadh minus 7. Oslo in Norway there at minus 7 there. Just zoom in a little bit before we get to the UK. We can see Paris and Brussels 9 and 7 respectively there. There's that rainstorm I mentioned. So if I scroll it back a little bit, this is what we should be experiencing right now, depending on where you are in the UK. This is what they're forecasting in about less than an hour's time here. Jim, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. And to you, Mutty Von Eric. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Vicky, good morning to you. Lurking, no worries. Everyone is totally fine. Hope you have a great week, a great day ahead. Same to everyone else in the chat. We can see here, guys, if we're looking at right now, there is a rain. I'm sure you guys can speak for yourselves there. There is a bit of a forecast of plenty of rainstorms up in Scotland, in the middle and northern parts of Scotland, as well as some snow up in the Highlands there. Most of the other parts of the UK currently seem to be dry at 8 and 9 degrees respectively there. Belfast and Edinburgh 7 7 respectively there. If we scroll a little bit further on here to later on in the evening, temperatures staying around 8 7 6 8 7 5 degrees is what we're expecting here, with parts of the Highlands still getting their fair share of snow there. You can see there. With some places, you can see some high winds forecast in some parts as well as those temperatures there. That rainstorm seems to be not really hitting someone on right down at the southwest coast of England, but at the moment doesn't appear to be hitting there. So parts of the UK are still staying dry. But if we move it a bit, appear to be staying dry. But going a bit further on into Monday there. Overnight on Monday into Tuesday morning there. Yeah, it looks like some of that rain is actually going to start coming in. Going to hit parts of Wales, hit parts of southern England there. While this rainstorm and snow in parts of Scotland is still going to be dissipating there. The Midlands and north of England and southern Scotland can get away with it. As well as Northern Ireland looks like they're going to have a dry spell. Northern Wales looks like they're going to be okay there. Oops, something went wrong. They forgot to update that. But for Tuesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, this is what we're expecting here. Some rainstorms, snowstorms. It's going to be expanding out, not just the Highlands, but other parts of Scotland are going to be experiencing that there. So it's going to be pretty cold. As you can see, 3 degrees there, so wrap up warm. As for the rest of the UK here, Belfast looks like they'll be staying dry at 5 degrees tomorrow morning. We're doubling at 7 degrees with their fair share of showers there on the Irish coastlines there. Manchester at 3, very cold for them up in the north of England as well. London and Cardiff 5 and 5 respectively. Yes, looks like temperatures are going to be very cold. Looks like it's going to be dropping here from the looks of it here. But we've got this rainstorm that's coming over from across France and into the UK here. We can see here, and that's going to be all around the southern England here, and as well as the capital of Wales and England there. We're going to be experiencing their fair share of rain, so I'll definitely be experiencing that tomorrow. We can see those temperatures staying very cold. Looks like temperatures are going to be dropping again. And oops, they forgot to update their program again. And looks like overnight into Tuesday, from Tuesday overnight to Wednesday morning here, we got, again, these temperatures, guys, going to be very cold. Temperatures are dropping again. Yeah, we can see, looks like there's going to be shades of snows in parts of Wales and England as well, not just in Scotland there. From the looks of it here. And it looks like there's a bit of a snowstorm possibly coming over, maybe. But move it over to 3 in the morning. This is what they're forecasting early Wednesday morning here. There are some patches of snow in probably up in the in the high areas of Wales, probably where some of the highest peaks there will probably drop some snow there from the looks of it. Maybe even some parts of northern England where the hilly sides are, maybe they'll drop some snow, perhaps. A few shades of rain there, but it looks like going into Wednesday morning here, those parts of Highlands of Scotland are still going to be casting with snow, but it looks like for Wednesday morning here, it's like a bit of an increase in temperatures if you're in the south here. So London and Cardiff could get an increase in temperatures around lunchtime there, but those temperatures up in Scotland are going to be staying roughly around about the same. Not too much change in temperatures, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and north of England there, but Dublin, Cardiff, and London get away with it, to be respectfully there. But very cloudy with some patches of snows in a few places there. Moving a bit further on late into the Wednesday evening here. You can see there's this big snow patch out on the ocean, and a rainstorm there. But for the most part, most of the UK looks like it's going to be dry. There will be a few tiny patches of snow around, but most of it is going to be pretty clear. And we'll just have a quick nose at Thursday before we'll wrap up on the weather for now. Let's see what they're forecasting at the moment. Looks like they're forecasting a dry day on Thursday from the looks of it. Almost a completely dry day with some tiny patches of rain and snow, but most of it is going to be dry. Temperatures is what they're expecting. It looks like maybe some increases in temperatures in some parts of the UK. There is what they're going to be forecasting. So we may have some dry days coming up here. But the temperatures, just having a quick gaze. There's for pretty much for the most part, guys, the temperatures are not changing anytime soon. They're staying pretty cold. They're forecasting an increase in temperatures on Sunday from the looks of it here, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, for the most part, pretty much the next couple of days could be staying roughly around about the same. So it is going to be quite chilly there for sure. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, some parts of the UK are going to experience some dry spells this week, whereas some others may not get as much, depending on where you are located. Just for reference, there. We're certainly raining with the usual wind you expect in Peterhead this morning, says Thomas there. Good morning to you, Thomas. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, there's going to be a fair share of rain in different parts for sure. 3 years and 11 months, Reganelite. 3 years and 11 months, Reganelite by the end of February. Wow, that's awesome. Yep, and next month is the anniversary show, isn't it? We got the Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th of March will be the 3-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. We got that to look forward to. So I'm going to be doing a show on Friday, guys. Not sure where I'm going to do it, though. That's going to be a difficulty. Because you can't do Friday evening. Can't do Friday afternoon because of Daily Blase. So I'm not sure where I'm going to do it. But that show will definitely happen. I might even replace the Good Morning Show with doing that, potentially. But we'll see. Right, guys. Let's go and start with The Guardian. See what they're saying in their front page there. Or the front headline on their website. Mandelson has quit Labour as Epstein document reveals. He urged the bank to threaten Labour Chancellor over banking tax. Pearce said he had resigned his membership of the party to avoid causing it further embarrassment. So I don't know how many of you have read into the latest uptakes of Epstein files. I watched some of it from the YouTuber Vosh's perspective. Some of the things that have been shared makes my skin crawl. I'm not going to repeat some of the things that have been said in some of the documentaries of it because it's Monday morning and I don't want to be putting that in your heads right now. Some of the things that have been said about the things that they do to children and some of the things they did. But if you want to look into it, you'll be my guest. But I don't know if Mandelson actually took part in these. I don't know how many people actually took part. One of the things is an allegation has been made in the files about Trump actually taking part, as well as Elon Musk wanting to go to Epstein Island as well, which I don't know what to say about that, apart from just makes me sick to my stomach. I think I heard it best. I think Vosh said, "Can we just fire all our cruise missiles and blow up the island?" And you know what? I've actually inclined to agree. I'd rather just wipe that island off the face of the earth. Because I don't care if it's a bloody crime scene. For me, it's a huge stain on the human. For me, it's a stain on the human race. That island and everything that happened on it. I think I'd rather see it blown up more than anything. It's really uncomfortable. As for this piece of crap, Peter Mandelson, well, the moment he was found to be related in the Epstein files, I mean, that just says everything that needs to be said, and it's pretty embarrassing for Labour as well. He resigns from Labour. Don't you think he should resign as a peer as well? Maybe he should resign as a peer. Has he resigned as a peer, guys? Let's see. He's resigned his membership of the party, but he's still a Lord. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I think he should resign as a peer. I'm not comfortable with him getting free taxpayer money at our expense, considering him being in there. Mandelson quits Labour as Epstein documents reveal. He urged the bank to threaten Labour's Chancellor over bankers' tax. Tories and SNP call for inquiry into how Mandelson came to be appointed ambassador, giving Epstein links. Starmer confirms he wants to see Angela Rayner back in government as at the right point, saying she is a fantastic asset. Lib Dems called SNP calling for Mandelson to be stripped of peerage. Yeah, he hasn't been stripped yet. Yeah, he needs to be stripped of it. I don't know if they can. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But can the government strip him of his peerage? Is there a way to do it if he refuses to do so? If the government can, they should. More than half of 2024 Labour voters in Wales won't vote for the party in the seed elections, polls suggest. It's not a surprise there. Less than 2 in 5 2024 Labour voters plan to back Labour in the election. Current voting intention, apparently, for more in common. Interesting. Most of Great Britain's major rail operators are back in public hands. Is it working? It's too early to say that. This is way, way, way too early to make that assumption. Ireland should stay reminded of what what your ruling class are. What do you mean your ruling class? I don't. Sausage fingers choice Reganelite. I think they can Reganelite. He's a traitor. It's simple. He is a traitor. Absolutely. Good morning, Martin. Oh, is that something only the king can do? Is it only the king can remove a peerage? Is that what you guys are saying? Can the government remove him, or does it have to be by the king? Just out of curiosity, guys. Yeah, sausage fingers. Yeah, the royal. No, yeah, the royal family are connected. Dead. It's not. I don't. Is it more than just Prince Andrew in those files? Possibly. We don't know. We don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised, guys. It's cold in winter. No global warming here, says David King. Nah. Right, let's have a look at this, guys. So, so we've got February West Midlands trains, Gover, Chilean Railway, West Wayson, East Midlands, Spring. Right, so it won't be till the autumn next year. Then all of the rail lines will be made. The majority of Great British Mail rail operators are now in public ownership as the Labour government continues efforts to make railway more reliable, affordable and accessible. Nationalisation of West Midlands trains on February the 1st represents the 10th major passenger service to be brought back into public ownership, leaving 6 to go before the government's deadline of completing every operator by 2027. The route, which has resulted in an operator being nationalised roughly nearly every 3 months, is gradually bringing an end to privatised systems that critics argue being overly fragmented and focused on profit to the detriment of passenger service. Several operators are already under public ownership by the time Labour were elected in 2024, having been nationalised by the Conservatives over financial woes and poor performance. Yeah. Meanwhile, Transport for Wales and Scotland were each nationalised by the Welsh and Scottish devolved governments in 2021 and 2022 respectively. However, under the current Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander, the Department of Transport has accelerated the pace of nationalisation, bringing 4 rail operators on the public books since May 2025, the South Western Railway, Great Anglia and West Midlands Trains. And they freeze rail fares for this year, correct me if I'm right as well, haven't they? Fine to get a wide mix of news and weather, recommended by Indie Truck Davey. Yes, Indie Truck Davey does great stuff there. Yeah, apologies guys, I've been under the weather and while also trying to do stuff at the same time this morning. This is why I want on there or on Graham Hughes' Morning Brew, lurking in the chats. The nationalisations come ahead of establishment of a new state-controlled company called Great British Railway, expected in 2026, which, by the way, has a crap logo, which they could have gotten a kid to do instead of spending taxpayer money funding the logo, just for reference. It's been described by the DfT as single directly minded for bringing track and train. However, Great Britain's trains will remain privately owned. Expressed concerns optimism about Labour's plans, highlighting the potential of Great Britain to achieve more coordination. However, experts have warned that nationalisation alone may not be enough to fix all Britain's problems with rails, given ballooning costs. Yeah. I'm all for nationalisation, guys, but how much of it is actually going to make a difference to us remains to be seen. So you can actually see from the graph here, you've got the grey lines that are public, and the grey lines that are private, and the red ones that are public there. But the trains are still not officially owned by. Are not owned by the railway lines themselves. Different story. Democrats slam U.S. Justice Department release of Epstein files. We're witnessing a full-blown cover-up as it happens. Yeah, this is one of the biggest cover-ups in human history. There's no other cover-up as big as the Epstein files. None. No cover-up as big. And the worst part is there is still no, there is still, no matter how much they release, there's still so much more, so much embedded, so much blanketed out because so many people are desperate not to know about it. I bet there are a lot of foreign governments desperately trying to beg the US administration. I bet there are a lot of foreign governments begging the US not to release them as well. UK hospitality firms demand more help with business rates amid questions over a Heathrow discount there. Let's have a quick look at the front of the UK. What else they've got here? Suffolk serial killer Steve Wright admits murdering 17-year-old in 1999. Family calls for inquiry into residential care charity that ran up £1.6 million of debt. Residential care charity. How did it run up £1.6 million in debt? House prices bounce back in January as analysts predict a 2% to 4% rise in 2026. House prices need to go down, not up. UK should consider resuming talks on EU defensive pact, Starmer says. Yes, I agree with that. We should be doing that. Parents of children abused by Philanthropy taking legal action against London nursery. I should think so. Daily postcode lottery restricts new cancer treatments in England, doctors say there. I've never taken drugs or drunk alcohol, says Zach Polanski. I did watch his chat with Laura Queensberg. I thought he was okay. I thought he was pretty solid. There, pushed back against the questions that were asked to him there. Couldn't believe Laura Queensberg actually found the spine to actually have him on the show. I wonder what took her so long. Maybe she was feeling the pressure there. Let's have a look at Sky News. See what they're saying here. Suffolk Strangler pleads guilty. That's the main story there. Trump threatens to sue comedian over Epstein joke. Oh, for God's sake. Someone made a joke about him. He's threatening to sue them. Monitored by AI all day long. Ex-TikTok employee accuses company of bullying and union busting. Along with four of her former colleagues, Linda Osgood is launching legal action against TikTok. This is the second court case TikTok is facing from former UK employees in recent months. Speaking out what she calls union busting, one of the world's biggest social media companies. Find it really hard to sleep at night, having flashbacks, feeling tired, losing my motivation. Along with three of her former colleagues, she's now launching legal action against TikTok. The second court case the video app is facing from former UK employees in recent months. She started working at the company as a moderator and then as a qualities control worker, checking the work of external agency moderators. At first, she enjoyed her job but found it rewarding. But then she was moved on to a flow work dealing with some of the most extreme content posted on TikTok. Extreme content. You don't want to see children being, you don't want to see women going through all kinds of abuse. You don't want to see people self-harming, using slurs all they want. It affected me. So she started off well dealing with certain content. Then she was put on to dealing with more extreme content. And you feel, unless you have like you have to have a strong mind and a strong, unless you have like you have to have a strong mental mind to be able to see that content and compose yourself and whatnot. Like, did she agree to that, or did they just put her on there? It affected me. Despite the type of content she was watching day in, day out, Linda said there wasn't much support keeping moderators safe and to ensure that they were able to moderate TikTok's content efficiently. TikTok does tell moderators to take breaks when they need them and offers a mental health support platform. Okay. Melinda and other moderators tell Sky News she's spoken to recently say that in picture they did not feel supported. Instead, they felt pressured to work faster and harder no matter how disturbed the content. You are monitored by AI all day long, she says. This accusation that moderators are consistently monitored and feel pressure is something Sky News has previously been told by other moderators at the company. Moderators find themselves pressured to deliver, so they have to carry on, even if you see something which really affects you and you feel you have tears in your eyes, says Linda. Sometimes you cry, but then you carry on working because you have to reach those targets. Otherwise, the bonus will be affected. Your job security, your salary, everything will be affected. She says that pressure has a direct impact on users safely. When you work under pressure, you are under speed and you make errors. It means that things should not be in the platform are still actually there. It's not good for moderators. It's not good for users of the platform. That being said, according to the list of the latest transparency report, TikTok removes more than 99% of harmful content before it's reposted. According to data gathered by EU's Digital Service Act, it also has the lowest errors rates and the highest accuracy rates in moderation among all social media platforms. I'll come for that. I'll respond to that in just a moment, Alistair. So there's this side of me that's like, I'm glad that TikTok responds very quickly to removing harmful content on their platform. That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. However, obviously, for me, it's obviously the concern and well-being, obviously, of those who work as moderators to remove that platform. Being pressured to work really, really fast and not getting a chance to kind of relax and take a breath. I think obviously that's obviously concerning as well. Yeah, because obviously that kind of, like I said, when you're working on that kind of content, it can have a real mental impact on you guys. It really, really can. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships to Trip, Roof Gauge, Coffee Margin, Mutty Von Eric, The Witchy Goth. There was that 5. That was 5 gifted memberships. Just checking it was 5. Because in the past, guys, whenever people gave gifted memberships, it didn't always register, but it did there. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it there. Obviously, guys, if you want to contribute towards today's Super Chat goal, you can do as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Social media is a million times worse. Yeah, social media social media has positives and negatives, as I like to call it. We focus a lot on the negatives more than the positives. But I understand how people feel about. I understand. I'm regularly on social media, so it's not that I don't see different perspectives. What's going on in politics for Sky News? Full Cabinet Office investigation needed into Mandelson's Epstein links. Baggernaut says, do you want to do an investigation into your own party with the defections, Kemi? Or do you just want to keep watching to see who's next there? Yeah, Mandelson needs to face all this stuff. People advertising illegal smuggling routes to UK to face 5-year prison sentences. Again, this is all well and good, and it's but if you've got people outside the UK doing this trafficking, what are the UK government supposed to do? If they're in the UK, it's another thing, but if they're outside the UK, if they're in Europe, that's another thing here. I'm talking about young children. Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely, young children. Yeah, of course, 234. I totally agree with that sentiment. Yeah. I can say I've been fortunate enough not to come across that kind of content on social media. I'm considered very lucky. I've not come across that content, and nor do I ever want to come across that content. I want to know I'm worried about the psychological effects it would have on me if I was to see that content. And you guys know from my mental health live streams that, how there are times where I struggle on things. So, no, you're absolutely right, 234 on that. Good morning to you, by the way, and anybody else. If I haven't said hello, good morning to you. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to switch to other news in a moment, but let's have a look a little bit more here of from the UK here, from the BBC UK perspective here. Drone incidents near the UK military base double year on year. Why? Number of drones incidents near the UK military base in the UK has doubled in the last year. Figures obtained by the BBC shows there are a record 266 recorded events involving drones in 2025, arrived on 126 reported in 2024. Government sources said they have that some of those instances can't rule out hostile state actors. Yeah. There is absolutely no way that you cannot tell me that there is not hostile state actors doing this. It's very possible that someone could easily just pay somebody to say, hey, fly some drones near the base or whatever, and you'll get some money, and they don't tell them who they are or what they represent or whatnot. You pay somebody to do it on your behalf. and you get the footage, and you don't ask questions. You know, not saying it's China. It could be anyone. Could be anyone. The doubling of rogue drones near military sites in UK last year underlines the increase in and changing nature of the threats we face. Look, we need to make it more like either two things need to happen. Either A, like start shooting down drones that get too close to the military base, or B, if we're not going to shoot down the drones, we need to find out who are doing them and they need to face accountability. Like it needs to get to a point where they just need to stop. Like just don't fly. Like literally, just if you fly your drone around a military base, you know you will you should face consequences. So they should change that. They should change that. I think it's dangerous. I think it's too dangerous. I think I think away from military bases, like not near its perimeters or whatnot. That's a different story. But I think around military bases, I think they should change the law on that, saying you're not allowed to fly drones around military bases. Like it's the same thing with prisons. Obviously, we know that drones are being used to smuggle drugs and narcotics and whatnot into prisoners in UK prisons, and yet they still not be able to deal with that. We need to take more action. Needs to be taken on it. We need to take more action on it. Yeah, because we're putting ourselves at risk as well, as well as there are just some genuine people who are just flying drones for the sake of it, but this I absolutely agree. You can't rule out hostile state actors potentially doing this. We really should be taking action on that. I'm surprised the Workers' Party of Britain is not contesting the by-election. That's quite interesting. The Working Party, led by George Galloway, said it was in the best interest of the Working Party to withdraw from the election. In a statement, it said it would not choose a candidate for the Greater Manchester seat from the four it had been considering. Yeah, at the last general election, the party got 10.3% of the vote and came fourth. Yeah. In a statement, they said that Labour had woefully failed but the party claimed that Labour was the enemy of British people, blah, 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 added, whoever wins it. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not putting up a candidate. That's quite surprising. I guess they didn't want to waste the money then. Charlotte Kedding chosen as Tory by-election candidate. Who's that? Retired police detective Charlotte Cannon has been chosen as the Conservative Party candidate for the forthcoming Gorton Denton by-election. Who's the Labour candidate? No one's even given me the name of the person. Candidate was who was a police officer for 30 years. It must have dropped over the weekend because I didn't even see the name. In both Greater Manchester Police and Metropolitan Police, given a proper inquiry into grooming gangs, she said she wanted a proper inquiry into grooming gangs to operate in the region to get rid of carbon tax. I know we're starting off very small base. Conservative voters from the last election got our own policies. She set up and chaired the Police Sex Equality and Equity Network to challenge workplace discrimination based on sex. That's cool. She's also a trustee of Sex Matters, a charity that advocates for gender critical perspective and for single sex spaces, which is okay. Yeah. Okay. That there. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've seen enough. She's one of those people. She's one of those people. On the paper, I was thinking, this one's not too bad. I was like, no, she doesn't believe in trans rights here. Just 1 second here, chat. Hold on a second. Are we still live? Because I've just lost connection on my devices here. Why am I losing? Oh, God, I've got no connection whatsoever here. Have I got a connection there? My device has got no connection. Do I have connection here? Are we still live, chat? Because I will not be able to read your comments, I'm afraid. If we are still live. For some reason, the wireless has dropped off here. I'm still live. Right. Okay, because my devices have all gone off. So, yeah. Right, just for temporarily, guys, I'm gonna have to not gonna be able to read your comments temporarily for the time being because for some reason I don't seem to have. Is it back on? I think we're back on. Okay, Its chat's come back on. Okay. Yeah, because I need to have my device so that I can see you guys in the chat. Ah, there we go. There's the Labour pick as well. Right, let me have a look at this Labour pick. I think Graham Price message saying, why didn't you put that in your post, in the post of for candidates? And I said, well, I didn't know who the candidate wasn't chosen at the time when I did it. Right, there we go. So who is this? Angeliki. I can't even say her name correctly. Angeliki Stoker has been selected as the Labour Party candidate for the upcoming Denton by-election. So Manchester Councillor was chosen to represent the party after Greater Manchester Andy Burnham. Yep. Big congratulations. As her candidacy was announced, Stoker told a crowd of party activists that she was looking forward to going out on the doorstep to winning it for Labour. I'm a proud Manchurian woman. I've walked the streets of the constituency. So she's actually someone from the area, which is also a good thing. Flanked by Labour chairwoman. I felt so moment. Not interested in the Birmingham. Don't give me some. All right, fine. Don't give me no information about her. At least I had something about the Conservative one. Didn't even give me any information about her. Ugh. Blimey. Didn't even give me any information. Andrew should testify to US Congress, Starmer suggested after new photos. Yep, he should. Whether he will or not, I don't know. Sorry about that blip, guys. I think it's called Drone Assist, says Jem. I'm with you in person, but not about the waking bit, says Mel. Men covertly filming women at night and profiting from footage BBC finds. Yeah. Talk about a disgusting way to make a living. Or what do you do for a living? I just video random women on the streets and then put it on my social medias. Like, that's just... What's the matter with you? The video is often described as walking tours or nightlife concerts. Content are published on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. They focus almost entirely on women in dresses and skirts. Many film from behind or at low angles. Sometimes we tracked down nearly 50 women who had been filmed and found that many were unaware of what happened, expressed feelings of fear, humiliation. Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. Like, yeah, I'm not going to read any more of that. Like, seriously, get a proper job of life. Like, seriously, you're going to be doing that kind of stuff. Like, seriously, what's wrong with you? What's even more disgusting is that they're making money off that. That's what's even more disgraceful. That's what's even more disgraceful. Hunt for the UK's smallest mouse in a huge Scottish nature reserve. Find the mouse. Find that mouse, guys. Look at that thing. Find it. The hunt for the UK's smallest rodent is to take place on a huge nature reserve in southern Scotland. Harvest mice weigh the same as a 20-piece coin. 20-pence coin are considered to be critically endangered in Scotland in the mammal society, but evidence of nesting we've recently found suggests they may be living in the 10,500 acre in the Towers Valley near Lancome. Now, a series of surveys have been held in the area to try and confirm officially that the tiny animals do live on the land. Find them. Find them and report back to me ASAP, guys. Very, very important. Warning after birds are glued down by sticky traps. What? Oh, that's horrible. Wild birds being caught and injured in a glue-type traps set for rodents. An Irish wildlife group has warned. Robinson starling has been found stuck in traps which are illegal in the Republic of Ireland but not in Northern Ireland. Why not? The starlings were fully glued down and the robin got its wings caught and was dragged up a sticky device around, unable to fly. USPCA representative said the traps were inhuman and cruel and called for a ban in Northern Ireland, which he said was lagging behind. John Conifer, founder of Wildlife Rescue Cork, has been rehabilitating injured birds alongside her team. That's terrible. Got a call from someone who had caught a robin. It was the first time I had seen such a structure. Hard to think, it looks like it could be stuck into the ground. Why would they do such a thing like this? And the left wing blades was on both sides. Tried coconut oil to get it off. It's so fragile it would have caused a bone break. Jesus. The problem with small birds is that they can die of stress. Yeah. That's so terrible. The bones in birds' wings are hollow and light, allowing them to fly. So we did have to lose some feathers to get it off, which he will again, depending on how long it will take to mount. She explained. Jesus, that's terrible. What's the matter with people? Honestly, like, it makes me sick to my stomach. Honestly, why would you do that? Like, honestly, they're just birds. People are creepy, you know. People are weird. I really, really just don't get it. Let me just refresh this quickly here. Yes, this is I'm very happy to hear this, guys. The 5-year-old and the father returned to Minnesota after release from immigration custody, guys. So, I believe they're back in Minnesota now. So the horrible story, obviously, that famous scene of the child. They were released from an immigration facility in Texas on Saturday. I believe they're back home now. Taken into custody in the case through widespread condemnation. Yeah, so the Castro wrote on Sunday that he picked up his father and son on Saturday night, escorted them back to Minnesota on Sunday morning. Liam is now home with his hat and backpack. Thank you to anyone who freed him there. Yeah. There they are, back home. That's very happy to see. So, delighted they're back in Minnesota there. But my God, what a horrific experience for them to have gone through there. Absolutely horrible experience. I'm just glad that they're back, you know, back home. And cross fingers that ICE don't go near them again. I really hope not. What else is going on here? No one is illegal on stolen land. Billie Eilish among celebrities criticizing ICE at the Grammys. Yep. I'm glad to see celebrities are calling out what's going on. We need because celebrities have a lot of influence on people. They have a lot of influence on people. Corporate America is threading a needle on how to respond to killings in Minnesota. China criticized the decision to award a Grammy to the Dalai Lama. I'm honestly not interested in the Grammys personally. You know, whoever wins is okay. You know, not really my thing personally. But Trump says Kennedy Center will close for 2 years for renovations. Renovations? A flurry of artists have cancelled their appearances at the center after the board voted to add the president's name to it last year. You've added Trump's name to the board of the Kennedy Center? No wonder artists don't want to be on that. Oh, my God. Can the guy not be, like, I think Trump wanted to change. There was a story I read that Trump actually wanted to change the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Mexico, to the Gulf of Trump. Like, he wanted his name in it. Like, he wanted his actual name on it. And they had to persuade him that it was a bit too much to ask. If Iran declines the nuclear deal, Trump says we'll find out if a US attack sparks regional war. I don't think they're going to do that. I think, the Arab nations will make sure that won't happen. I think Arab nations are going to pressure. They have leverage. The Arab nations do have pressure, do have some leverages on the US. And they will use that if they need to keep Trump and the US from attacking Iran. Even with Israel banging at the door saying, do it, do it, do it. I don't think they're going to be able to do so. Yeah, the escalating rhetoric from both leaders come as US has sank a carrier strike and air defense group in the Middle East. Yeah, so far they're just sitting there. Thank God they haven't attacked yet. Cross fingers they don't ever. I really hope they don't ever. Snowstorms. President endorses Johnson New Hampshire Senate race. Democrat Tyler Rimmett wins a reliable Republican Texas state Senate seat, stunning the GOP. How Trump's 2020 elections obsession is still shaping Georgia politics. Yeah, so they've stolen the voting machines and records from one of the centers from the 2020 election. Yeah, there is definitely going to be rigging of some sorts at the midterms. That's definitely going to be happening. Mobile outages become the norm in Russia, fraying nerves and leaving many feeling disconnected after 4 years of war in Ukraine. How a trans woman's removal from a restroom tore the world of competitive pinball apart. Wow. All because she wants to go. All because the trans woman wants to just go to the bathroom. Son of Norway's crown prince goes on trial on rape and other charges there. Indonesia restores access to Elon Musk's Grok, lifting the ban over sexualized image. No, Malaysia, I think it was last week or the week before, undid their ban as well. So it looks like they've obviously made concessions there. The Rafah crossing will open between Gaza and Egypt on Monday. Will it? Will it? I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical. Melania blows past box office expectations despite criticism and poor reviews. The document about the First Lady brought in $704 million according to Amazon MGM Studios, which distributed the film. Really? Really? Right, let's see what else is going on in the news. God, we've got 9 minutes already. Thank you, Viper Scott, for the two separate £2 super chats there. Thank you. Just 2 more super chats to go, guys, to get to the target today, if we can. A reminder, I will be live tonight for The Viewpoint. If you guys want to join me for that show, it'd be greatly appreciated. That'll be tonight at 8 o'clock, guys. We'll be covering specific UK news. So if you want to join me for that tonight, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Child killed by Israeli fire as ill Palestinians depart Gaza through the Rafta. So it's actually opened there. Does it actually opened? Let's have a look. They opened the thousands of sick and wounded Palestinians are eagerly waiting to leave for urgent medical care aboard as Israel opens the Rafah boarding with Egypt for limited transfer. Rafah boarding has been closed by Israel for nearly 2 years, reportedly operating for 6 hours a day and allows the exit of only 150 people with 50 individuals green light to enter Gaza. Yeah, only 50 individuals been allowed in, apparently. Thank you, Viper Scott, for another £2 super chat. Well done for Ollie. Blinded Palestinian child. Families rejoice as he is approved for medical transfer. The parent of another Palestinian child injured in Israel school in Gaza. Injured child. Israel prevented patient's exit to Egypt at a death warrant. Yeah. Israel agreed to only allow 50 patients out of Gaza for healthcare daily. Today's authorities only let 5 people through it to Egypt, it said. We're still losing lives every day, only allowing 50 patients out of Gaza each day. So it looks like they're going to open it up. Have to keep an eye on it. Well, it looks like they're opening it up to a certain extent there. Cuba denies security threat accusations as US raises pressure. Said it's ready for constructive engagement with Washington as the White House moves to choke off oil supply. The Cuban government has rejected accusations that it poses a threat to the security of the United States, insisting it stands ready to cooperate with Washington. That's exactly. They don't care. The Trump administration doesn't care. They don't care. You can say all you want, but they want to talk big macho man, the US. They don't care. Thank you, Viper Scott, again, as for the £2 super chat. All hail DPR, all hail DPR. Yes, guys, it's for Ollie there. So Ollie says thank you for your support, Viper Scott, today. Appreciate it. And for those who are who's Ollie, this is Pingu, representative of the Democratic Penguins Republic from McDonald's Island. He is the foreign minister, guys. We don't talk about who the current president is. And no, it's not Trump. Thank you for that. It's very, very appreciated there. The Cuban Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement on Monday calling for dialogue and stressing that the Caribbean island does not support terrorism. The declaration comes amid a spike in tensions after the abduction, the kidnapping of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro last month, which is part of President Donald Trump's drive for U.S. domination of the Western Hemisphere. Well, yeah, they're using the correct language, Al Jazeera. I will give them that. The Cuban people and the American people benefit from constructive engagement, lawful cooperation, and peaceful coexistence, statement from them said. Cuba reaffirms its willingness to maintain a respectful and reciprocal dialogue originated towards tangible results in the United States government based on mutual interest and international law. But again, we already know this Trump administration doesn't care about all that. So yeah, they have opened the crossing there. A year after Hezbollah's Israel ceasefire, over 64,000 Lebanese displaced, guys. Yeah. So, by the way, there's a ceasefire. There's a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, right? That's been like, what's it been? More than a year? More than 2 years now? Something like that. It's been been more than a year. Been quite a while. And 64,000 people have been displaced. People are still getting killed. They're still doing airstrikes and strikes and targets in Lebanon. And Israel are facing no accountability for that. That's still happening, guys. But of course, they don't want you to know about that. That's why the mainstream media doesn't talk about it. China carries out further executions on Myanmar scam center suspects. People from China, Vietnam, and Ethiopia believed to be trafficked and forced to work in scam centers sit with their face masks while detention being released from centers in Dalawai, eastern Myanmar. The executions are part of a broader crackdown on Beijing, on centers across Southeast Asia, which are built on an industrial scale and hunt scam victims across the globe, as well as running kidnapping, prostitution, and drug trafficking. They've executed 4 people found guilty of causing 6 Chinese citizens' deaths, running scam and gambling operations out of Myanmar worth more than $4 billion. The Shaoxing Intimate People's Court in southern China announced the executions today. In a statement, however, the timing of executions was not clear. The executions of 11 other people convicted of running scam centers in Myanmar had been announced last week. I'm not in favour of the death penalty in any way, shape, or form. I don't support the death penalty. Life imprisonment isn't. I'm support of life imprisonment, but death penalty, it's just not something I support. I really, really don't. They sentenced 5 people accused of running a network of scam centers and casinos to death in November. One of the defendants, the group leader Bai Shaoling, died of illness before his sentence was carried out. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like, because there's a part of me that feels like that these people who are working here, who are forced to work in these scam centers, I'm worried that they're being made out as the. I hope that the Chinese government are being more sympathetic to those who have been abused and used by these Myanmar scam centers. Right-wing candidate declares victory in Costa Rica's presidential election. Right-wing candidate's closest challenger concedes defeat as partial results show her on the verge of winning the presidency, apparently. Laura Fernandez has declared victory in Costa Rica's presidential election of preliminary results, giving her a commanding lead, and her closest challenger concealed defeat. The move earlier on Monday comes after the Supreme Electoral Tribunal said the votes tallied from 81% of polling stations showed a candidate for the Sovereign People's Party winning 48.9% of the vote. In a victory speech, she promised deep and irreversible change and announced that Costa Rica was entering a new political era. The Central American nation's a second republic, which began after the 1948 Civil War, is a thing of the past, she said. It's time for us to build a third republic, she told flag-waving supporters. The 39-year-old politician has also pledged to lead a nation that is respectful and firm on the rule of law. Any law that is inefficient and has become obsolete has become a hindrance to development, will be modified and repealed, she added. Fernandez's closest challenger was economics Alvaro Ramos of the National Liberation Party, who obtained 33%. Wish I kind of knew a little bit more about her, but I'd have to read more up. But we're running out of time here, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look at the Associated Press before we head out here. 1 second. Let's see what they've got to say here. Speaker Johnson faces tough choices as partial government shutdown drags and debates over ICE steepening. I thought we were out of the. I thought they agreed. Has it not been done then? House Speaker Mike Johnson faced tough days ahead, trying to muscle a federal funding package to passage and prevent a prolonged partial government shutdown as debate intensifies over Trump's administration's sweep in ICE work. Johnson signaled he's relying on help from President Donald Trump to ensure passage. Trump struck a deal with senators to separate the funding for the Department of Homeland Security from a broader package of public outrage over 2 shootings, deaths during protests in Minneapolis against immigration and customs enforcement. Under the plan approved by the Senate, DHS will be funded temporarily to February the 13th, setting up a deadline for Congress to try and find consensus on new restrictions on ICE operations. The president is leaning on this, Johnson had told Fox News Sunday. It's his play to call it to do it this way. Speaker said, adding that Republican president has already concealed he wants to turn down the volume on federal immigration sweeps and raids. First test will come today during a committee meeting where Johnson will need his own GOP majority to advance the package after Democrats refuse to provide the votes for a speedy consideration. Johnson said he's hopeful we can wrap up for a full House vote at least by Tuesday. Yeah, it's interesting that the president, obviously, since the deaths of two people, it's interesting that the president perhaps may be leaning towards trying to tone down ICE. Perhaps. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, if he actually means that or not. But certainly, for sure, I hope that's where. I hope it means, obviously, first and foremost, that nobody gets killed. But what we need to see is a lot of innocent people not getting detained and shoved away and whatnot. There needs to be ICE needs to be abolished. We all agree with that. But obviously, the Democrats can only demand so much. But they need to do something to try and safeguard people as best they possibly can. But they've been crap with all this, the Democrats, if I'm honest. Right, guys, so we've just hit 12 o'clock here. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming along today. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Viper Scott, for the super chats and gifted memberships. Very generous of you today for the first month of this year. Just to remind you guys for this week, so I have live stream tonight at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, Global News will be episode 100. I won't be doing any more live streams on Tuesday afternoons or Tuesday evenings going forward. That'll be the last time I do one on a Tuesday there. Unless obviously plans change or whatever. But it's the idea is to give myself a bit more free time. As for a live stream this Thursday, I don't know if I'm even going to do one, guys. I might just use a lot of time to get use Thursday time to get more stuff done. There will be the Good Morning live streams as always. There will be, obviously, Wednesday will be the busiest live stream coming up. So there's still plenty of stuff to come. And later on this month, next week, we have the Eco Flake show. And at the end of this month, we have the round table with myself, Mikey Flamin from the BIM podcast, Van Man Talks, and Daily Blase. That will be at the end of this month. That will be as well. So there's plenty of stuff to look to there. I also have a week where I'm away in February. That I'm just looking at the calendar now, if you guys are wondering what I'm looking at, which is the week of the 16th of February. I'm going to be away, so pretty much apart from Friday the 20th, no, not even Friday the 20th, I'm going to be able to live stream. No, because of my plans. No, yeah, so pretty much that whole entire week there will be no live streams. So that's going to be an off week pretty much for me, guys. So I'm just letting you guys know in advance of that week. I'm just seeing my other content that I have to do that week. Oh, I've got to get all that done as well. Yeah, I've got to get all that done. That's going to be problematic. Okay, yeah. So thank you guys again all for coming along. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you guys are doing. Do check out the homepage for knowing when I'm going live next, just for reference there. And if you guys want to take part in any of the community posts on any pollings, let me know and give your comments down below as well. Appreciate it. You can also join our Discord community for free as well. Link for that is in the description. But on your way out, if you can, hit that like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and do check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content. And thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.